And welcome to Indian time. It's been a while since we've been here. I'd just like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. Hope you all had a good New Year, a good beginning anyway. Today is the month this is the month of January. It has two names. It's the month, shaking hand month, or the month of the shooting. Well, usually, it was in later years when they called it Stapsche, when you brought in the new year by shooting your rifles and your guns. And so hopefully everybody had a good year. Our place name for today will be Ho'ilqsa, which is Pablo. Ho'ilqsa is referring to the trees in this area, some of the groups of trees. The animal name for this show will be Skadleo, beaver, Skadleo, which is part of, as a long time ago, was an important animal this time of the year, the trapping on animals, using the pelt for clothing, and then later years it was a source of income. Also, the Skadleo, parts of it was used for medicine, and parts were used for food. So that's the animal for this show. Plant for this time, the plant we will use is Stimtimnia, or snowberry, Stimtimnia. And I know this plant has been used certain ways for open sores or cuts. You put how it's prepared, and then you put it on your cuts and sores, and then it would heal without leaving any kind of scar. Activities that go on this time of the month, a long time ago, and to some extent continue today. One of the big things, I think, is the first day of the year is the jump dance, and we had a jump dance down at the Longhouse on January 1st, and we had to postpone the rest of it until a later date because of a death in the community. So as far as I know, they have set the first weekend in February, which is February 1st and 2nd, Friday and Saturday, to have a closing jump dance. So if you're around, come down to the Longhouse on the 1st and 2nd of February for another jump dance. Also, this time of the month, we have medicine dances going on and different ceremonies. And I know those of you that are fishermen, this is although this time of the year, some of the things have changed. We used to do a lot of ice fishing this time of the year, and now there's hardly ever any ice anywhere, so I don't know if anybody does any ice fishing anymore. This is time for telling stories, making things. A long time ago when our ancestors would work all summer, spring, summer, and fall, and then in the winter months, this was the time that they had a chance to sit down and prepare, make tools, make clothing, and tell stories. So this was kind of a quiet time in their lives until springtime, where activities would take place and pick up again. And that brings us to to today. I guess I talked about storytelling, a little bit of history, and today my guest is Pat Pierre from Dog Lake, one of our elders, who is going to be telling us some of these things, information, some of the things that take place this time of the year. As you all know, our life cycles, Indian life is on a season. You follow the seasons. Whatever happens during that season, many different activities go on. I'm going to have Pat today tell us a little bit of those. So with that, I think I'll go ahead and introduce Pat. Welcome. Let's all welcome Pat Pierre from the Dog Lake area. Maybe he's the mayor of Dog Lake. I don't know. So let's welcome Pat and share with us some of the things that take place this time of the year.
Okay. Levlem specia kast gelgart. We gast wakken kuspens les dagulus. We thank everyone today for the good things that you do to uphold our traditions, keep them alive, and to be able to teach some of our traditional ways. There's a few of us left here on the reservation that have memories that go back 50, 60 years. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that goes on about this time of the year. Well, actually, it starts at the first snow. When the first snowfall comes, we kind of get into an attitude of spirituality. We know that the time is coming when we're going to be able to get down and to do our medicine. But that happens just any time of the year. You can help people any time of the year, but the winter months is like they used to tell me, my grandmother especially used to say the winter months is good because the ground is pure. It's covered with snow. And the spirits move freely. And they come to you and they ask you to do something for your people. And this has been going on for time immemorial. And it's this time of the year when we have our gatherings, our medicine gatherings. Some call them medicine dances. But it's a very traditional time when we kind of get off by ourselves, away from the crowds of people like the towns and the villages, and we get off in the mountains where we can get one-on-one with the Spirit. It starts in the sweat lodge. You get your contact in the sweat lodge where you do 4 or 5 days before you do the medicine. It's kind of a preparation to get your mind set on what you got to do. You push everything else aside and say, this time is set aside specifically for helping people. First of all, we help ourselves to get into that place where we need to be so we can reach out and help other people around us. And it takes work, it takes dedication, and it's all spiritual. We totally trust in the Spirit to guide us. So we've got to have our spiritual ear open all the time. If something comes along, we catch it and say, okay, we can apply that because we need to do that. So the medicine dances are, this month especially, the beginning of a new year. Back in the old times, it was when the snow got deep. Usually back then, snow come in the fall, late fall, and we had many years we'd had deep snow. And we have our lodges. We just put up a lodge to do our medicine, kind of away from the people. Ones that needed help would come. And again, I'd like to stress the fact that it's total dedication. The Spirit always lets us know that healing is in your hands. Healing's in your heart, in your being. So whenever you get dedicated to doing that, then that takes precedence over everything else. Your dedication to help your fellow man, to stay well and well for their well-being, so that you can be happy, be healthy, do the things that you want to do out there and need to do. Hunting, in the fall of the year we do our hunting. We have a lot of meat for the time when we do our lodges. That used to happen throughout the reservation, from the north end, the Kootenai country, down in the Salish country. To every place, all week, all month long, there'd be different places would have their lodges, the medicine. And it was good because you knew where the next place was going to be. And if you had a problem, a health problem, and you know that person that's going to have that lodge is good for that particular reason, for that particular sickness, then you go and you give yourself over to the Spirit and say, okay, I come here because I want to be healed, I want to be healthy. And usually that's what happens, you know. Then the heart, your heart tells you you got to do it. Your health, your body tells you. So we get mindful to our spiritual self. Every part of our spiritual being tells us these things. It forewarns us of different things. So we're prepared for this time of the year. And we go out there and we do our lodges and we help our people. Whatever the problem might be, that there's someone there that can help this problem. And someone has been called to do this thing. And that's what they do. How this started was many, many years ago, when the Indian people had this continent totally, that before Christopher Columbus come. The Indian people totally depended upon the Spirit to give them messages to heal one another and to help one another. And sometimes in their sleep, a certain individual would have a dream or a vision that he must go to the top of the mountain now. Don't prepare, just get up and go. If I have a message for you, I will meet you there at the top of the mountain. The Spirit would talk to him. And so they'd mind. The Spirit, you know, he looks at the people and sees someone with a good heart, someone that's wanted to help and willing to help. That's the person that gets the message. He'll go to the top of the mountain. And in later days, they call that a vision quest. But what happens there is he stays up there wherever time it takes, self-preparedness to receive what the message is. He prepares during that time. And when his spirit is totally pure and his heart is pure, then the Spirit comes and talks to him. Maybe it'll come through an animal. Maybe it'll come through the wind. Maybe a song will come, and that song is one that man is going to use to help his people. And he'll learn that song. And the Spirit will tell him, now you go and you help your people. There's an epidemic going on. Maybe a lot of people are sick and dying. Well, this man has been chosen to go help, rise the people up, heal them. He gets his message of certain plants that he can use to prepare these plants to help his people. When he comes off of that mountain, he's a changed man. Nowadays they call him medicine man. Some places they have different names for them. But in our language, Tlaquish. So he comes down and he follows his instructions. And he looks for these plants and he finds them. Those plants that we talk about are still here. We still have them. We still use them. And he'll find these plants and he'll prepare them and he'll start doctoring his people. He'll call them into a central place and he sings his songs, the ones that are given to him up there. And through this, he starts using his medicine, applying medicine to help his people, and they become healed. And so that man is good for that particular thing. Then maybe perhaps another epidemic will come. It's a different type of sickness. Another man will be called. Another person out of that camp will be called to do the same thing. To go up on the mountains and wait for the Spirit. And already they know that it works, so they're willing. They get up and they go in the mountains. They don't prepare, they don't take food, they don't take water, they just get up and go. They don't take extra blankets or coats or anything, they just get up and they go. Because they're called to go. So they mind it, and I will go. And in that time, sometimes 3 days, sometimes more, but it's when you're ready to receive, that's when you get it. Whatever the Spirit has for you to go and help your people. And you get your instructions and you go back and you help your people and you see them rise up and be healed. So, a lot of these people, these camps, tribes, had several people in there that could heal certain things. Not one man could go and heal everything. He had a specific thing that he could work at. And so, after a while, after they got a hold of this, and they said, yes, it's true, we could do that. And they started using it more strongly. The power was there to use. And the Spirit always told them, it's in your hands. You use your hands. You use your mind, you use your voice, to use your songs, to heal. And so that went on. It was a good thing. It didn't need, well, back in them times, there was no hospitals, no doctors, no nothing. Just medicinal herbs, roots, plants of different types, sometimes the berries off of the plants. Whatever it was, they knew how to use it, because this was what their calling was. And it was never, ever a time when they'd say, well, I can't do it, because they were given the power to do it, they would do it willingly. They'd go in search of people that need help, or they're sitting in a crowd and they see someone that needs help. They'd approach that person and say, I can help you. I want to help you. And most of the time, that's the way it went, And so today we still do a lot of these things. But a lot of this stuff that we do now gets distracted. There's too much stuff out here in the world today to get totally into that place anymore without distraction. So you have to get off by yourself. Most of the time we go in our sweat lodge where we're secure and we can talk to the Spirit openly. And that's a place that we work out of anymore today. You go up in the mountains today, and it's hard to find a place that's secure from any kind of interference. You got airplanes flying over your head, you got different things going on. And so it's really hard anymore to get totally into spirituality where you can say, yes, I'm in that place now. In my personal life, the first snowfall gets me into that attitude of now I prepare. And all through the winter months, December into January, we're in preparation for that certain time. So we kind of push away from a lot of things here. Because like I said a while ago, there's a lot of distractions everywhere. I mean, everywhere. There's no place hardly anymore that you can go where you're not distracted by the things of the world. And so today, we are still doing it. But we are, a lot of times, we're way back in the background. We're not putting it out there. We're not advertising. We're not saying, hey, I want you to come. We just let Spirit direct him. If someone needs help and Spirit knows I can help them, then he will go to that person and he will direct him to me. He will direct him to come to my time of the lodge, the time of the sweats, and I would be able to help them. But we don't advertise. We don't go and say, well, this is going to happen certain day, certain time of the day, certain hour, certain minute. Because back a long time ago, they didn't have timepieces. So they went by the Spirit. Whatever the direction was, that's the way it was. And if it was during the noon time of the day, well, so be it. That is when it is going to happen. If it is at midnight, that's when it's going to happen. A lot of times today we pick and choose certain times. Say, well, this certain day I'm going to do it. But if it's your own idea, it's not going to work. It has to come from the Spirit. It has to be spiritual direction in order for it to work and to be best for your people. It's always your concern. You never just worry about yourself being up on top of everything. No, you got to take your people, you got to gather them and say, I want to help you. And I have concerns for your well-being, you know. And I leave that up to Spirit. And the Spirit, right now, I'm doing a lot of sweats and I'm praying about this. I'm preparing. And I want the Spirit to go out there and to talk to these people that need help. And I want Him to direct them to come. And sometimes we get on the telephone and we call up somebody and we say, so-and-so needs help and they need your help. Can you do something? You know, that's good, but it's good if something's wrong with me, and if I know my brother Tony can help me, I will come to Tony and I will say, Tony, I'd like to have you help me, rather than the kind of roundabout way. So direct contact with Spirit always is the key to this thing. And if I got my work going, and there's certain things that I use to help heal people, I cannot pass that down to my sons or to my children, because it would not work for them. They would need to go and seek for their spirituality, their contact with Spirit. They would have to seek it themselves, so Spirit could come to them directly and hand them the things that they need, the tools to work with to heal their people. So that's one of the things that I wanted to really talk about, is these things that sometimes we hear that, well, so-and-so was handed the medicine to use, you know, and personally, I know that it don't work that way, because each one of us individually have to go out and seek for our own spirituality, our own contact with the Spirit, face to face, so that we can know exactly what we need to do. And if it comes from Spirit, it's true. It's something. Spirit will never misguide you. Spirit will never lie to you. Spirit will tell you exactly what you need to do, and that's the path you follow. And it's hopefully that someday we could teach this, that we could get it on the record and say, here's what you need to do, you know. Get back into yourself, get back into your heart, where your heart is totally dedicated to what you need to do for your people. And that's always our concern, is our people, you know. Sometimes we got to put this body in a subjection and say, okay, you're well, you're doing good, you're healthy, but now you need to share that. Now you need to share it with your people. You need to reach out, you need to touch those people so they can too be healthy. And these are the things that I wanted to talk about today, because it's so important. In these times, there are wars going on and rumors of wars. We don't need to be a part of that. We need to pray about it, but we don't need to be in the conflict, because that would trouble our spirit otherwise, where we are willing to help, wanting to help others. If we have problems that are unresolved, there's no way we can help other people. We need to always be in that place where we can be at hand. And again, it's true that Spirit says it's in your hands. Use it.
Okay, thank you, Pat. We're just about out of time here, so we'll take a little short break here, then I'll come back and we'll close her up. With that, I want to thank Pat again for coming, and we'll be right back and we'll close the show. Welcome back, and again, I'd like to thank Pat Pierre for sharing some of that information with us, which is very important this time of the year. In closing, I would like to remind people that the place name today is Hoylsa, is Pablo. The animal for the show is beaver, and the plant of the show is Stimtumnia, which is a medicine. I'd like to remind people also, tomorrow, the Wednesday, the 9th, will be our elders meeting down at the Longhouse from 9 to 3, sometimes 4 o'clock. And then next week, on the 16th, Wednesday the 16th, also at the Longhouse, is a cultural workshop. So please be there. On the 17th of January will be the Woodcark Incashola Memorial Feast, which has been going on for about 80 years now. I'll talk a little bit about that on our next show. The tribal holiday for this month is Monday, January 21st, which is Martin Luther King Day. And remind everybody that the closing jump dance will be the first weekend in February, 1st and 2nd at the Longhouse, Friday and Saturday, starting at 7 o'clock sharp. The sooner we can get started, the sooner everybody gets a chance to participate. So those nights we will start at 7 o'clock. Bring your favorite dish to share with the people also. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for being with us today. Good day.